All right, guys, it's been a minute, but we're back. Small Business Sunday is back. We have had some great people on since we restarted the interviews, but we might just have our best one yet. So if you haven't subscribed to the Crypnotic channel, that's what you need to be doing right now. Because today, we've got Acey Slade. How have you been?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh my God, fantastic.
Awesome.
Like before we got started recording, we had mentioned how we finally got to talk, face to face after having been in contact for a while.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So everyone knows you as a wonderful musician, a skilled guitarist and bassist for Murderdolls, Joan Jett, now Till Lindemann. You've also been associated with Misfits, Joan Jett, Dope. My God, you've done it all. But a lot of people don't realize you are also a small business owner.
Yes.
And that's what we're here to talk about today. And I couldn't be more thrilled. Catfight Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we even start?
Well, I mean, the short version is I've loved coffee my whole life. I started another coffee company probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and it didn't work out with my business partners. And when the pandemic kicked off, it seemed the ideal time to segue out onto my own. And that's the short version of it.
Okay. Well, I have absolutely been in love with your coffee since I first tried it. I love the way you come up with all these different flavors and different just notes in the coffee. It's unique in the fact that you have this amazing like branding image, but the coffee speaks for itself. You don't have to rely on your reputation as a musician or really flashy packaging. Like the coffee would be great just out of a plain can. But of course, you do better than that.
Thanks. It's to me it's a complete package. It's a complete process. It's like if you have a great album and you got a shitty album cover, then that doesn't do you any good. And if you have a great album cover, but if the record sucks, then that doesn't matter either. And that's kind of how I view Catfight.
So I had listened to some podcasts that you had been on discussing Catfight, how it got started in the pandemic, how you were really inspired by like some of the culture in Taiwan. Do you want to touch on that briefly?
Yeah. Wow. It's I love one of the things that I love about coffee culture, at least for our company, is the fact that it's still something that is still very hands-on. So for us, we really enjoy being able to meet with the farmers who grow the coffee that we use in our coffee range, and we like to do that as often as we can. I think that's one thing that separates us from a lot of other companies. But yeah, coffee is still something that it's like it has to be done by hand. The beans all ripen at different times, so it's not like corn where it's like, hey, all the corn is ripe. Let's go reap the whole harvest. They have to go around and pick the beans by hand at different times as they ripen. So it's still something that's still very artisanal every step of the way.
Thank God. So how do you decide what varieties of coffee to release?
If they taste good.
If they taste good. And you do a lot of travel to sample coffee beans, as I understand.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we've been to Bali, Mexico, Taiwan. Yeah, that's Puerto Rico. Where else? And then we went to Italy to check out Italian coffee culture as well. But they don't actually grow coffee beans there; they just drink copious amounts.
Yes, a lot to do with climate and a lot of farming space. So I really want to know personally, what inspired the Night of the Living Dead and the Alice Cooper coffees? Because I feel like those are just really big, like within Catfight. Those are like just eye-catching coffees. It draws in fans.
As far as the taste or as far as the licensing?
All of it.
Oh, okay. Well, I like the idea of doing licensing, but only on things that I actually like and things that I actually enjoy. So Night of the Living Dead was perfect for Catfight because it was filmed in Pennsylvania, where I'm from originally. So we've got roots there. George Ramiro's directed a couple of music videos for bands I've played for, not while I was in the band, but there's a lot of connection between Night of the Living Dead and just me as a person. So as a franchise, that made sense for us to license that. Now, the coffee that we used for it is called Highlander Grog. Highlander Grog is butterscotch, vanilla, and rum. And I don't know why, but it's just for some reason it just seemed like the right two coffees to the right coffee with the right brand. And to be honest with you, I'm not really sure what made me think that, but it worked. And with Alice Cooper, we used a very very rare coffee. It's a Burundi double A. The A refers to the size of the bean. So this is actually a very, very expensive coffee, to be honest with you. And Alice Cooper, again, man, I've toured with Alice a couple times, and he's a very rock and roll dude, and it goes along with our horror theme, and it made the most absolute sense to do an Alice Cooper coffee.
I've been a huge fan for ages, so I was so delighted when I'm like, oh my god, they really have everything. Catfight even has an Alice Cooper. This was made for me.
I mean, we figured Alice Cooper goes on stage and dies probably, like at least 5 or 6 times during his show, and something's got to be the thing that brings him back from the dead, right? Catfight Coffee.
Oh god, that's clever. So, as someone who does travel not just for your company, but also for music, how do you manage balancing both aspects of your career?
Well, it's not easy, especially because things always pop up. But the more ahead of the curve that you stay with things, the less emergencies you normally have, So, we try to be as prepared as we can. We try to stay on top of things as much as we can. But like, for example, I know Mondays are completely devoted to Catfight Coffee. Like from the minute I wake up till the end of the day, it's all Catfight all day. So that kind of helps because it's like having that one day where it kind of puts all the ducks in a row, sets everything up. Kind of gives me a little bit more like, all right, well, maybe I'll get to this on Wednesday or Thursday or whatever. And yeah, it's a tight schedule,
I understand. But I love that you have that sort of dedication.
Thank you.
It's definitely admirable. So, what is it like having your wife as a business partner?
I thought that it was going to be, I don't know, everybody warned me about it, but so far she's been the best business partner I've ever had. So it worked out really well. So if there's anybody out there that says, don't go into business with your, significant other, I mean, maybe that might be true in your case, but in our case, it's been awesome.
So Catfight Coffee, as I understand it, was that inspired by your cats, like the name? I know you said something about a name search generator.
No, well, when we knew we were going to start Catfight, again, this was, the genius of my wife, I'm thinking of like band, like I'm thinking of like movies that I liked, and I'm thinking of like song titles and, things like that. And she's like, well, look, why don't we just break it down easy? What are words you like? All right, well, so we just started writing down a bunch of words, and I forget. I was like, she's like, well, what else do you like? I was like, well, I like cats. She's like, okay, cat. And I don't know why, but Catfight just popped off of our heads, and that was it. She was the word generator. Mei-Ling was.
She was the word generator.
Correct.
My God. So, Jamie Gray would like to know, since you have released a Murderdolls coffee, is there any chance there will be a dope Misfit or Lindemann coffee?
Yes, there are possibilities of all of them.
Oh, really? So, touching on the Murderdolls coffee, for those of you at home who are watching this that don't know, we recently had, or AC recently experienced, the 20th anniversary of the Murderdolls. And a few months prior, a Murderdolls coffee got released. And I believe it is flavored with, stop me if I'm wrong, rum, white chocolate, and raspberry.
Correct.
The Murderdolls colors.
Mm-hmm.
It is the most unique coffee I've ever tasted. I've already had 5 cups today. The thing is, like, when you open the bag and you smell it, you smell all 3 of those things. And it is one of those coffees that I've served it to people, and even though they don't take their coffee black, they can drink that coffee black because it has so much flavor.
That's one of the biggest compliments that for me that I can get is when people drink our coffee and they're like, usually I add milk and sugar to it, but I don't have to with your coffee. And it's like, well, that's because it's good quality, man.
It definitely is. Like the second I can tell when that's brewing as opposed to anything else in my coffee pot. Because, you know, I'll try different coffees here and there, but that one, like the second I smell it, I get excited.
Nice.
That is just fantastic. And I've gotten all the merch bundles you have. I've got the Night of the Living Dead. I've got the Alice Cooper shirt and pin bundle, and I got the Murderdolls. And you have honestly come out with just such great merch. Like, your branding has just been wonderful, from like the quality of the shirts to the design art. Like, how did you go about just cementing such great design?
Well, thank you. We work with really good artists. I got to say, Chris Nielsen did the Night of the Living Dead stuff. James Hernandez did the Alice Cooper one. And basically, they're just people that I know that have done a great job designing a lot of music stuff. So that was kind of, and Monster Mark is a guy named Monster Mark. He's working on another coffee that we're working on right now. So I've been really lucky to have a lot of great artists at my disposal.
Do you come by those people easily?
It's hard to find them, to be honest with you. It's hard to find them in that, you know, we're not a huge company, and I, as an artist, I hate negotiating with other artists on price because I know that they're probably underselling themselves anyway. And I hate that because, you know, as an artist, artists all tend to undervalue themselves. And I hate being on that business side where I need to do that. But I'm doing it because we really aren't a big company, not because I'm undervaluing people, you know.
I've definitely been on that end of things.
Yeah.
It is amazing that you have that sort of respect for your fellow artists to where you're aware of that going in.
Oh, man, you know, it's funny. I had someone, if I was listening to a podcast, and it was someone that was talking about like how they thought that money was going to bring them happiness or something like that. I don't remember. And they ended up with like $100 million or something. And I remember, and they asked the guy, like, well, what did you do with that money? And I forget what he said he spent it on, but I was like, you know what I would do? I was like, if I had $100 million, I would, I would pay all my artist friends what they're actually worth to do some artwork for me that I may not even need, but I just know that they need that money, and I love their art. So that's what, if I had $100 million, I would pay my artist friends what they're actually worth and have them do some art for me.
That's a really cool thing to say.
Thank you.
So I had done some promo for Catfight myself, and I do have to put the other ear on, but otherwise, Casey Catfight is alive and well.
Hi, Casey.
So this is, because it's a kitty for AC, so he had to be Casey.
Thank you.
And yeah, he's got the removable teeth that have all your social media info printed on the back.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So he goes with me to events, and he'll sit on a little easel, and people will take his teeth, and I'll refill the teeth.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
So yeah, so I'm kind of like an in-house dentist.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know that I would ever want to make more, because using foam board was the hardest thing I've ever done. It absorbs all the paint.
Yeah.
Like, my roommate and I were up till like 3 a.m. trying to get these cats done. But they came out great, and they get a lot of compliments, and I just love that I get to share a really awesome product with people, because I'm not going to promote anything that I don't stand behind 100% myself. And it has just been really cool letting people know, hey, you know, this is a musician that meant so much to me growing up, and they have a really great, you know, product that they're selling, one that I can't freaking get through my day without. I forgot to order more Catfight one time, and I had to go 2 weeks without until my next check, and it was probably the worst experience of my life. Worse than any doctor or dentist appointment I've ever been to.
And you know about dental stuff, apparently, so.
I do in certain respects. I could be a cat dentist.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I should start a Patreon for that.
There
you just
go.
Inspired me.
There you go.
Oh my God. So when you decided, you know, coffee is a big enough part of my life that I want to start this company, like, what made you so sure of that? Why didn't you go in like a different direction? Like it had to be coffee.
Well, it's something that they haven't figured out how to make a digital download of yet. So it's still a physical component that people still got to buy.
Still a physical component, most certainly.
Sure.
God.
And I figured if I could make the bags cool enough that people would want to display them, then that's twice the punch, if you know what I mean. If the quality of the coffee is great, and then I make a cool bag, and it's back to that physical component of albums and CDs and stuff like that. And yeah, like I said, they can't digitally download a cup of coffee yet. That'd be some Star Trek shit right there.
Wow. Yeah. The physical component is definitely true, because once I found out that the licensing was going away on Night of the Living Dead, I got another bag and I'm not opening it. It's just sitting on my shelf.
Nice.
On my bookshelf, so it's on display next to my horror section.
See? There we go.
So as I understand it, you are somewhat of a reader.
Yes.
So do you have like your own collection of like coffee books?
Not a ton. No, obviously I read Richard Schultz's books. Richard Schultz is the guy who started Starbucks. No, not so much. I usually go online to online magazines for coffee stuff.
Speaking of online magazines, you have a fantastic blog on Catfight Coffee with all these articles that have pretty much anything you should want to know about coffee, anything you could think of. You've got all kinds of cool things on there. What made you decide that a blog was something to include with Catfight?
I can't lie. SEOs, search engine optimization. So basically, you know, the more words you have in your website, the higher you come up in the search engines. That was a big part of it, but I do actually enjoy it. Like had someone not pointed out the importance of that, I probably wouldn't have gotten into it as much as I am. But now I'm really into it. Like I love doing our blogs, and actually my mom helps with them. My mom does some, and it's cool. Yeah. Thank you for noticing that, because we work really hard on our blogs. I mean, part of it is I feel like that's something that we can give to people that won't cost them any money. And I love being able to give back to our customers and give them as much free content as I can, you know. And I think it gets them to know us a little better, and us to know them a little better too.
I'd say that's definitely true. Speaking of books, you are writing a Murderdolls tell-all, as I understand.
I don't know if I quite call it a tell-all, but it's basically going to be a nonfiction narrative based on my journals from the band, and I'm really excited about it. I have all my journal entries, and then I also have the quotes from like different reviews. Like, so in other words, like if I write about like some crazy shit that happened at a show in London, I have that, and then I also have all the magazine articles from all the press that we did, and they might have done a review of that same show. So the idea is to try and give multiple perspectives to different events.
Okay. Wow. And you have 3 cats.
Correct.
Let's see if I got this right. There's Frankenstein, Vampy, and Tura.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming, of course, you named Tura after Tura Satana.
Correct.
That is also another fabulous coffee. So for you
Thank
guys watching, I have to recommend the Tura Satana coffee, and I definitely have to recommend the Murderdolls coffee. So please go out and try them now because you love me. You won't be sorry. And of course, we love puns over here at Crypnotics. So the Catapult Espresso.
Ooh.
I can't live without it.
Yeah, I love that as well.
I did notice that Catfight is now offering at-home coffee makers. Like, you're not just selling the coffee beans, you're selling the equipment.
Yeah, we have a really good grinder right now from a company called Fellow. They're a company that we really like a lot. They're not cheap, but we really believe in them as a company. So we're not making our own grinders or our own brewing apparatuses. We're sticking to the coffee. But yeah, we've gotten into that. French presses, pour over kits. Yeah.
Wow. That you seriously just do it all. You play music. You make coffee. You write books. Like, who are you? Oh, this has seriously been like one of the.
But that's why I had to start a coffee company to have all the energy to do all the shit that I do.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm definitely there with you. I work 3 jobs, so I completely understand.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview. This has been the highlight of my month.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And talking to you has been the highlight of my month. I mean, not for nothing, it's only been 7 days long, but still it's been the highlight of my month.
Thank you. Well, let's hope that keeps up. Or let's hope your month gets better. I don't know which one.
Totally.
Well, you guys, thank you for tuning in to another Small Business Sunday segment. I will be linking in the comments where you can find Catfight Coffee. Also, they have a really awesome hoodie with a wraparound design and cat ears and a mask. Like, you need to go look at it. I'm definitely going to link that too. Small Business Sunday is here to help bring attention to all the small businesses that are grinding so hard all the time. And if you know anyone who wants to be interviewed for a Small Business Sunday segment, please send them our way. Make sure you subscribe. And my God, guys, like, the support that I've gotten from you all has just been fantastic. And I'm always grateful. And don't forget, we also have Midweek Music Maelstrom, where I interview local bands. And if you guys find someone who wants to do an interview, let them know that I could end up with me sending them Catfight Coffee. I've already sent it out to 3 interviewees. Why? Because it's worth it and it's great. So we'll be seeing you guys next time. This has been AC Slade.
Thank you very much.